Okay, Dean. Let's be. The government does not need your money to pay its bills. The government tells you that it uses your money in income taxes to pay for the goods and services that you use. The reality is that governments have been taxing their populations a whole hell of a lot longer than they've been providing goods and services. The simple fact of the matter is that taxes are not the means by which governments pay their bills. Taxes are the means by which governments impose a class or a caste system upon a population without having to call it a class system. Taxes are the means by which governments control access to capital. They are the barriers that government erects to keep you in the class into which you were born. It is the means by which governments keep poor people poor, rich people rich, and those in the middle in the middle. Just look at the way taxes are organized. So, if you are at the bottom, the closer you get to the middle, the higher your taxes. Why? Because the purpose of taxation is to keep you at the bottom. If you're in the middle, the closer you get to the top, the higher your taxes go. Why? Because the purpose of taxation is to keep you in the middle. But if you're at the top, the easier it is to avoid taxation, because the purpose of taxation is to keep you in the class into which you were born. It keeps you poor if you're poor. It keeps you in the middle if you're in the middle. And it keeps you wealthy if you're wealthy. The purpose of taxation is not so that the government can pay its bills. The United States government functioned from 1789 to 1913 without ever collecting a single income tax from a single American. How did it do that if income taxes are the means by which they pay their bills? Because income taxes aren't the means by which they pay their bills. The way governments fund themselves is through the issuance of bonds. And then they inflate the value of the currency that the bonds are issued in. And when those bonds mature, they issue new bonds to pay old bonds. It's sort of like a game of three-card Monte. The government uses one credit card to pay another credit card, and it just flip-flops these credit cards. But again, the government lives forever. So it has forever to pay its debts. The notion that, oh my God, that $19 trillion number, that $19 trillion number is there to scare you. That's its purpose. That $19 trillion is how the government funds itself. It doesn't fund itself through your taxes. It's perfectly legitimate for a government, well, no government is legitimate, but it is perfectly legitimate thing to do if you live forever to just keep flip-flopping credit cards. So when this credit card is due, you change the balance to this credit card. The reason why you can't do that is because you're going to die. But governments operate ad infinitum. They operate in perpetuity. They operate forever. So you can flip-flop these credit cards forever, paying your bills forever. These people who are scared about this $19 trillion number, who have no understanding of what $19 trillion means. There's a reason why Dick Cheney said that federal deficits and budgets don't matter. It was a moment of honesty by one of your owners of your government. I'm sure he paid a price for telling you some bit of truth, because the government never tells you any truth. The simple fact of the matter is that the government funds itself through the issuance of bonds. It doesn't fund itself through your taxes. You pay taxes for one reason and one reason only. And it's the reason why all governments operate, and it's the way all governments operate. You pay taxes for one reason and one reason only. Because the government has more slaves with guns willing to kill you than you have free men with guns willing to defend you. Full stop. That's how every government operates. There ain't no more to it. If the United States government needed your tax dollars to operate, then how did it operate from 1789 to 1913? If the government of the United States needs your tax dollars to operate, then why is it that the budget of the United States far exceeds the amount it takes in taxes? How does it pay the difference? Through the issuance of bonds. Well, couldn't it issue bonds to pay the whole thing? Well, yes, that's exactly what it does. The purpose of taxation is social engineering. It is not the payment of debts. And to even make it even simpler, the United States government has a magical device called a printing press. Okay? The government can simply make as much money as it wants. Why does it need money from you to pay its bills? It doesn't need money from you to pay its bills. That's just what they tell you. Stop believing liars when they're lying. The government does not need your money to pay its bills. If every American stopped paying their taxes tomorrow, the government would continue to fund itself. Nothing would change. Literally nothing would change. But if that $19 trillion that you're so afraid of disappeared tomorrow, the United States would be the Soviet Union. It would simply go bankrupt. Because the truth is that the $19 trillion is how the government funds itself. You have all of these people terrified of that $19 trillion number. Oh my God, if I vote the wrong way, the $19 trillion is going to go up. Oh. The $19 trillion is going to go up regardless of whether you pay it or not. And regardless of whom you vote for. It's going to go up regardless of who you vote for. Because that's the way the government funds itself. It doesn't fund itself through your taxes.